And just when I thought you guys had grown tired of creepypastas, I was oh so wrong, because we're back with a part 2 of our Scariest Animal Crossing Creepypastas. Hey guys, welcome back to Top 10 Gaming. I'm your host Lucy McPhee. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss another gaming vid. Before we jump into this video, be sure to go over to our new sister channel, Beyond the Screen. You can click right over there. If you want to get your fill of movies, TV shows, Netflix originals, you name it, you can find it all over there with our new host, Jocelyn. Make sure to check out the new channel right after this video and click subscribe. You won't regret it. To begin, we have the true horrors of Animal Crossing. Uploaded to the Creepypasta fandom website, this one begins with a user called Nate Smith, describing how they are a huge fan of Nintendo, but an even bigger fan of Animal Crossing. Nate had just purchased a GameCube as he was nostalgic for the console, and secretly, he loved the console more than he did Nintendo. Oof, chills. Nate went down to his local pawn store to purchase the game. He asked the clerk, who directed him over to the Nintendo bin where they had a few. Nate found the game he wanted, as well as Super Smash Bros. Brawl and Custom Robos. He could only seem to find one copy of Animal Crossing in the bin, but it seemed to be brand new. He grabbed it, heading to the clerk, and purchased it for a steal. He got home, opting to play Super Smash first. After a few hours of playing and unlocking a handful of characters, he put in Animal Crossing. However, the game quickly froze, with it stuck on the GameCube startup screen. Nate reset the console about 5 times when it finally worked. The game's title screen appeared, everything seemed normal. However, when he pressed start, he noticed that Tom Nook's eyes appeared bloodshot, and he had a large bloody stain on his pants. However, as quickly as he saw it, it disappeared. He assumed it was his imagination or perhaps some kind of glitch in the game. He began the game, which started him on the train as usual, but this time nobody was there. The train had no driver, but there was one person who appeared, speaking to him. It was the person he saw on the startup screen. Curious, he spoke to the character and continued on with the game, creating his town, which he named Cherryville, and creating his character, who he named Nate. When it came time to select a house, he noticed that there was only one instead of the typical 4. So he selected the house and waited for Tom Nook outside, but no one came. Proceeded to walk in and out a few times in hopes of triggering something, when finally he was there. Once again assuming it was some sort of glitch in the game. He continued on. Tom Nook went on as normal, and after playing a few hours and working with Tom Nook, even paying off his house, things began to get a little weird. He went into the basement of the house after upgrading it, but as he descended, he noticed something terrible. The basement was covered in blood, and there was now a table in the middle of the room that wasn't there before. It was covered in weapons. Suddenly the lights in the room went out, and Nate could hear a slight scream echoing. The lights flickered back on, and there stood Tom Nook, standing by the table, with Nate's character on top of it. Tom Nook then spoke, stating, "Finally, I get my revenge. The same thing happens all the time. Somebody moves here and takes advantage of the house sale business." Nate's character was silent for a moment before it spoke. "What?" Tom replied, "It's time I take revenge and kill the human who moved here. I hate you humans. This place was sacred. You come here, shake our trees and cut them down. We no longer have any fruit because of you." Tom then moved towards Nate's character, and the lights once again went out. When they eventually turned back on, his character had stab wounds all over his body, as well as a decapitated head. Tom Nook stared at him with his bloodshot eyes and said, "You're next, if you move here." And then suddenly Nate's power went out and immediately back on. Nate went to bed, horrified by what had happened. When Nate woke up, he was on the same train as his character was on at the beginning of the game. Tom Nook stood before him. He said, "I told you, I would kill you next." And that's where this creepypasta ends. Next up we have Animal Crossing Tom Nook's Revenge. It's definitely a theme here. I guess we can't trust Tom, guys. This creepypasta begins with the user describing how they had been playing Animal Crossing Wild World for some time. Over the past week, some things began to get a little weird. They'd been walking around town when their neighbor Rosie began talking to them. Instead of saying "silly," as she's programmed to do, she said "woofy," which I also thought was a little odd. I also think it's a little odd. They assumed it was a glitch in the game, I mean they all do, and then walked off. After a few minutes of fishing, the game froze, forcing them to reset their DS. When it turned back on, it went straight back to Animal Crossing. But there was no music, just white noise, and instead of the usual opening phrase, "Hello, have you come to play?" it instead said, "Do you really want to?" The player then hit A anyway, and the screen faded to black. They then appeared as the last person they had played as, standing outside of their home. They expected Rosetta to appear, but he never did. Like before, there was no music playing and none of the players' neighbours would speak. They noticed they had a lot of letters in their mailbox, so they headed to the town hall. When they got there, no one was behind the counter though, and still, there was no music. Then suddenly a message appeared that read, "Go to Tom Nook." Weird. The player headed to Nookington's, where they found Tom, who was very clearly giving them a death stare. Rude. After about 20 seconds of just glaring, Tom said, "Are you ready?" Two options then appeared, "For what?" and "Yes." The player chose "For what?" and Tom quickly replied, "You'll see." Their DS then went black, and just as they were about to reset it, Sable appeared with a message, "I'm so sorry, Eve." The game then cut to their character standing outside of the house. All the furniture was gone though, and the walls and red carpet were red. Blood red. Another message popped up, "Open up." Tom then walked in, stating, "Be prepared." The player then ran out of the house to speak to their neighbour Goldie, who didn't say much, just, "Why Eve? Why us?" Goldie then ran away crying. The player then pulled out their axe and entered their home again. They ran over to Tom, who was still there, so they hit him with the axe. Because that's what you would do, wouldn't you? He screamed, "Ow, you little bitch." They hit him again before Tom pulled out a shovel. The player immediately ran for dear life, hoping they could reach a bed and get out of the game. It wasn't that easy though. They decided the easiest way was to just let Tom kill them. When they got outside, all their neighbours were gathered, watching on. "You made him like this," Apollo stated. "Leave while you can," Mathilda yelled. Tom then jumped out, beating the player with a shovel. Blood spurted everywhere. The player's DS then shut off. And that's where the creepypasta ends. Well, there we have it. What did you guys think of these stories? Did they spook you? Leave us all your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below. If you haven't already, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss another gaming vid. And until next time, see you later.